Greetings and welcome to episode 37 of the Prometheus Project podcast. I'm your host, Richard Bist. Thank you for joining me once again on this exploration of creativity. I'm going to start off this episode by asking you a question. Have you ever had one of those moments where you were overwhelmed by wonder? It may have been the first time you saw something like, a sunrise over the ocean, or maybe the first time you saw someone that you fell in love with. For me, I've had several of those moments. There's the first time I went scuba diving around a coral reef, and also the first time I saw the northern lights. And pretty much every time I watch NASA launch a rocket into space. And yeah, I know this probably sounds corny, but also the first time my partner kissed me, it left me speechless. A sense of wonder is, it's a wonderful thing. I don't think many people experience it often enough. I think that people see the world around them, but they don't necessarily appreciate it. And it's not just seeing things, it's experiencing them, using all the senses. And a perfect example of this is a music concert. Hundreds, if not thousands of people sing one of their favorite bands live. And what do most of them do? Well, they pull out their phones and start recording the show, so they're watching it through their screens. To me, that's not experiencing the event. That's being a passive observer. And really, does anyone ever go back and rewatch those videos, or do they just post them to social media and move on? Sure, I can understand that people may want to record a record of being there, like taking photos while on vacation at the beach or something, but I feel it's overdone. And sure, maybe it's just me. I like to take it all in with my senses, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the ambiance. Like, whenever I go to the coast, the first thing I do is I walk out onto the sand and I pause, take a few slow, deep breaths to smell the salt in the air. I look around and I close my eyes so I can take in the sound of the surf breaking, the seagulls complaining overhead, the wind in my ears. I take a moment to be still and just be. I guess in a way it's like communing with nature, but even more so. Experiencing the scene with all my senses makes for stronger, longer lasting memories. Even now, sitting here talking to you, I can close my eyes and I can smell that salt air, hear that ceaseless roar of the waves breaking, the surf sloshing up on the sand. Taking a few minutes to immerse myself in a setting helps decode it to my DNA, or at least that's how I feel. And then I can recall it when I need a moment of zen. I believe that when we're young, that sense of wonder is more easily accessed. And what I mean is, when we're young, when we're children, the world is still mostly new to us. There's a lot more first times than later in life. The first time we see a cow, the first time we try ice cream, the first time we pet a dog or feel a cat purring in our lap. There's the first time we fall and skin our knees, or the first time we have a crush. The inevitable first kiss. So many firsts. But on the downside, we're too naive to understand these firsts. Sure, we may be amazed and enthralled, but the moment, the sights, the smells, the sensations, we're too young to fully appreciate them for what they are. And sure, we can look back fondly on them, but do we really remember them as fully as we would as adults? Can we still feel those emotions, the sensations, the sights, the sounds, the smells? Well, probably not, unless you have an eidetic memory, which most of us don't. And as I've grown older, I've found a deeper appreciation for my sense of wonder. And I think that's helped my creativity. In fact, I think it's also benefited my mental health, but it was something I had to remember how to do. I think that as I grew up and as I grew older, those firsts seemed to fall by the wayside. What I mean is, I think I became sort of desensitized to it. I was still seeing things for the first time, like the first time I ate a sea urchin or read an amazing book. But these experiences didn't have the same impact as they used to. I guess I wasn't appreciating them. But over the past few years, I've been trying to train myself to change my point of view, the way I see the world around me. Maybe it has something to do with age. As we get older, we often begin to realize that time is fleeting. Or maybe it's related to how crazy the world has become over the past few years. Well, not that it's actually gotten crazier, but the crazy ones out there now have platforms on which they can spout their particular forms of craziness. But it gets overwhelming at times, and I think the overload of stimuli has numbed me, again, desensitized. And I think that's a shame. I'm glad, though, that I was able to recognize this. I really feel like regaining a sense of wonder and curiosity has reinvigorated my creativity. It's opened my eyes to all the good stuff out there in the world. Not just nature, but the people, the cultures, the ideas, the colors and sounds, the way things move, the ebb and flow of life. And for what it's worth, it's not difficult to regain your wonder for the world. What it comes down to is two things: gratitude and appreciation. I'm sure you're thinking, what does that have to do with a sense of wonder? And that's a good question. And here's why I think that. I believe that we can get to a point in our lives where we're existing, but we're not living. What I mean is, we get into routines. We move from point A to point B. We go to work. We go visit friends. We go pick up dinner. We go to the grocery store. But do we really experience these things? Or are we just going through the motions? I mean, sure, we can still have fun. We can enjoy ourselves. We can laugh and play. But it almost feels kind of hollow. We do it because it's what we do. That's it. We don't fully appreciate the experiences. Like I mentioned a few moments ago, it's like going to that concert. You have two choices. You can watch the show, listen to the music, dance with your friends, or you can pull out your phone and record it. I think that for most of us, we are living our lives as if we're recording it on a phone. We aren't actually immersing ourselves in the experience. And part of this immersion comes from being grateful. And I don't mean that in a religious sense, although you're welcome to take it that way if you prefer. The way I see it, I try to be grateful for my experiences, not to any deity or Mother Nature or anything like that. I'm grateful that I have an opportunity to experience something. For instance, while I was typing up notes for this episode, I was sitting at my dining room table and the blinds on the French doors are open. Outside, I have 2 hummingbird feeders. So as I'm sitting there, something caught my eye and a motion outside the window. When I looked up, I saw 2 hummingbirds that were hovering in front of one another, as if they're having a conversation. Maybe they were reviewing the quality of the nectar in the feeders. I don't know. Hopefully I won't see a bad review on Yelp. But it was such an interesting scene, a unique experience. I simply sat in my chair and watched these 2 tiny iridescent birds interacting. And I was grateful, I guess, to them for seeing it. And to take it a step further, I'm lucky enough to have a decent-sized backyard. And with all the rain we've been getting here in North Florida, the entire yard is so ridiculously green. All the plants are full and lush, and there's so many shades of green out there that it boggles the mind. You know, I can sit on my patio for an hour and just take it all in, let my eyes wander over the plants, pick out all the different shapes of the leaves, the different ways they move in response to the breeze, the way the limbs sway, the texture of the barks. And that's where the appreciation comes in. I appreciate how amazing nature is. I appreciate the lines, the angles, the colors, the textures, the sights and sounds. I close my eyes, I inhale deeply, I listen, and I feel. And that brings me back to creativity and the sense of wonder. I think that as artists, we have to maintain and nurture our sense of wonder. We have to appreciate everything around us so we can better experience it. And in doing so, we provide kindling for our creative fires. It doesn't matter if you're religious or spiritual, or if you're agnostic or a non-believer. We can all feel a sense of wonder for the spinning blue ball we're riding on. We can be grateful for the short time we have here. We can appreciate the beauty around us. We can immerse ourselves in it. Let it wash over us and inspire us. Having a sense of wonder circles us back to when we were children. But now, instead of experiencing the moment and moving on, we're older, hopefully wiser, and we can take the time to fully appreciate it. I think that when we can do that, then we can become better writers, artists, musicians, and maybe better people in general. And that brings me to the show closeout. I sincerely hope that you already have a sense of wonder that you can use to fuel your creativity, but if not, or if you aren't sure, maybe I can help get you on the right path. Generally, I would suggest meditation, because I've found that even 10 minutes of meditation every day can help me become more in tune with myself and my surroundings. But I know that that can be difficult for some people, so here's something else you can try. First, go outside. It doesn't matter if you're in the city, in the country, at the beach, in the mountains, and it doesn't matter if you have a big backyard or a simple balcony overlooking a busy street or a parking lot. Being outside is all that matters. And bring a chair if you can, or a pillow or a blanket to sit on. And take a seat, relax, take a few slow, deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then now that you're relaxed, look around. Take in the surroundings. Don't play any music. Don't look at your phone. In fact, leave your phone in the house. You need to focus your attention on everything around you. So take in the sights, or close your eyes and simply breathe and listen. Do you hear cars driving by, children playing down the street, birds chirping and singing? Do you hear the breeze blowing, rain falling, thunder in the distance? What do you smell? Car exhaust, flowers? Or maybe you don't smell anything, just air. Can you feel the breeze on your skin? The heat, the cold? Just sit and appreciate the sensations. What you're doing is you're training your senses to pay attention to the things around you. And in turn, you're training yourself to pay attention to your senses. This will, in turn, once again, be reflected in your art. It might be in big ways, it might be in subtle ways, but it'll have an effect. I promise you that. And you know, if you begin to do this regularly, maybe at home, at a park, at the office, anywhere, you'll soon realize that you're grateful for the experiences. You'll appreciate them more. And you'll begin to feel a little better inside. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if so, hey, please leave a review or a rating on whatever platform you use to listen. I'd love to hear from you. If so, drop me a line on my website, richardbist.com, or catch me on social media or on my YouTube channel. Until next time, be safe, be creative, and be kind. Cheers.